Disgusting. Good evening and welcome to Too Soon to Tell Tuesday. We've got a couple questions for everyone tonight, and I'm hoping that the poll will show the truth as opposed to some of the polls that we see. But welcome everybody to Too Soon to Tell Tuesday. Livingston, man, roll that beautiful bean footage. Good evening, everybody. How are you? Rick Gick Rhymes, Love and Life, Prepared Irishman, KP Heathen, Teresa Buchanan, Scott Hummer, Johnny Preps, 125. What's happening, my brother? Johnny, 30806. Welcome, Parabellum Prepper. Welcome, everybody to Too Soon to Tell Tuesday. And big topic tonight. Probably gonna get this video demonetized with the conversation here this evening. Probably. I'm just saying, Livingston, man. My mother Spark, my man Marco. What's going on, guys? Devil Dog Prepper, how are you? Hope everybody's doing well. It's Tuesday.
So you think gonna get you demonetized? That clickbait ass title?
No. I think honestly, the conversation here this evening, whatever way
we're gonna have to tiptoe around some fences here, however that works.
I'm not walking on eggshells. Roaming Prepper, what's happening, my brother? Virginia Bushcrafter.
We're gonna throw out all kinds of dog whistles. You guys are gonna know what I'm saying, even though I ain't even what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'll show you how they do this to you all.
Jason in VA says, grow and store food. Absolutely, my brother. He has been putting in some work, man. Some work. Fantastic job, my friend. Vision Preparedness. Welcome.
Thank you
my
to
friend.
the moderators, especially.
Yeah, we appreciate
especially
all
125. That's my number one. Well, no, I'm not. What am I trying to say here? It's almost said it's my number one fan, but it's that I'm his. what I meant to say.
Gear Guy, what's good, my brother? How are you?
I was gonna drive past his house the other day and like cannonball into his swimming pool, but like he packs, and I just didn't want him like.
Yeah, I think you were one of them rowdy kids.
Yeah, try that in a small town, bro.
Oh man. Gick Rhyme says, meet good people and hold them close. Shiat is getting crazy. Absolutely, my friend. Gather your tribe, folks. Gather your tribe. I hope you have some people near and dear to you. There's a poll. If you guys haven't seen the poll, participate. We're trying to get an accurate poll here amongst the viewers. No nationwide civil war, several small outbreaks, allegedly, says the old mutt. What's happening, my friend? We miss you, buddy. Yeah, we need some old mutt time. I need some old mutt time. I'll call you. Old mutt.
He's probably right, but I don't want to influence the vote yet. We're gonna let this.
Yeah. Organically, let it go organically.
We'll see who comes and goes and who votes, but let's let the poll run for like the whole live stream, and we'll address it at the end.
Absolutely, Constitutional Carpenter. Welcome. There's a few rabbit holes we're gonna go down tonight. There's a few polls that we're gonna look at tonight, and we'll talk about some ways to prepare if something like this were to happen. Man, I think it's important for us in the community to talk about these topics and link them how to prepare for such an event. We often talk about the events and we glorify the events and the things that could happen. We're going to get the gear out, but how are we going to prepare for that? What gear should we have, and what do we do with it when we get it out, Livingston, man? We're gonna trounce some topics tonight, so wish us luck. Wish us luck. I nobody's gonna pull the plug on this. I hope. At least not from here, anyway. But the YouTube folks upstairs. I don't always agree.
Bet you they.
All the gear, says Constitutional Carpenter. Absolutely. But hauling all that gear with you comes at a big cost. Speed, and you're going to be absolutely whooped when you get wherever it is you're going. If you make it there without injury, got to be careful. Travis, welcome, my friend. Sorry.
I think it's probably interesting to approach what people exactly mean when they think of a civil war. Like, I don't know if you think like half of us gonna put on red suits, the other half gonna put on blue suits, and we're gonna go march toward each other and like fight. No, this is gonna be wildly different. One like what they probably call guerrilla or underground, asymmetrical.
Absolutely.
You need a common goal. You need a common like cause. You have to like you need people to come together on a big broad scale. Who exactly is fighting?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Over what? Now, because what I think a lot of people mistake is that civil war is like a legitimate like military confrontation between.
No, that's like
this is more like what you're describing is like widespread civil unrest. I think a breakdown in law and order.
Absolutely, a WROL, most people would call it, without rule of law.
Right, and I think more. That's I think what most people are thinking of, even when the term civil war, especially United States, comes to mind, it's just a breakdown of the civil order.
Yeah,
that's different than some actual, military confrontation between two armed factions.
Militaries, yeah,
right.
Yeah, that totally different.
Unless states start like seceding from the union again. Texas and Florida to act like they about it sometimes.
yeah, they do.
And what does that mean, and how does that work? I mean, again, unprecedented times we be living.
Absolutely.
So we got to try it, right? We got to see what happens.
It's wild because you would in that type of situation, you would never know who your enemies were until you get fired upon. I guess then. Do you even know if they're your enemies at that point, or are you just in the wrong place at the wrong time? It's like the worst situation that you could ever think of. Especially even if we went with the old Mutt scenario where it was small skirmishes.
Right, it's bound to be like little brush fires. It just depends
Yeah.
on do they burn out of control or are they snuffed out.
Yeah. Lori Q, welcome. Water Tiger, good to see you, my friend. Adrian Bragg says civilians against the military is a no-win.
Yeah.
Well,
I said this on the other.
Hear me out.
The military are the people. Though.
Correct.
You're going to see both sides of that. You're going to see military. Yeah. If this goes down, you're going to see military units that don't fucking play.
And then you'll see ones that will side with the citizens.
Right.
And
then you start to work your way into an actual militarized civil war where you have factions of the military who have decided to side with one or the other here. So could that all happen? I don't know. Nobody does.
I think Abraham Lincoln was right when he said we would, be our own demise, that we would never be taken from a foreign country, that we would fall apart from within. And I think this is the kind of scenario that he was thinking of was, the Civil War was just fought. And
when the country broke in half and what they thought from within.
Yeah. He saw it. He saw it firsthand. And guys, the rhetoric that is going to start to come out, they're ramping it up now. There's somebody in the chat has to tell me how many Republicans are running for president right now. The number has to be, I don't know, 25 of them. There's at least 25 Republicans running for president right now. And there's got to be at least 10 Democrats who say that they want to run.
It really stinks because it's just like now we get to sit back and watch Donald Trump destroy 24 innocent people.
Could be. Or it could be the Mandela effect where, all these charges being brought against him. Will it bolster his base to support him anymore? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Ask his base.
Tank Houston, what's good, my brother?
Donald Trump's base if he ever did anything wrong in his whole life, and I guarantee what they'll say.
Yeah.
Okay, and and he knows that.
um, I don't know if there would be a way back if it actually got to the point of armed conflict, um, left versus right. We'll
James
say for
Bradford was good, homie.
this sake.
Tank Houston's in here too, right?
Oh, Bradford,
It's
what's
like we're
good?
putting the band back together.
Let's see. Roaming Prepper says we will see something similar to pre-Nazi Germany and pre-communist Russia, where factions fight in different places.
Yeah, street
I
battles.
agree. The Roaming Prepper. I agree. So
we already saw that in the run up to the 2016 election. You know, these Antifa versus Patriot. You know,
yeah.
Street battles. You know, like they were just LARPing, like the 1930s. It's crazy.
Yeah. You know, if we look back, we can see that it's getting worse, and it's getting worse, and it's getting worse. Every election cycle, this gets worse. Last election cycle, they put barbed wire around the White House and inaugurated a president behind barbed wire and machine guns. Will this election be any different? Somehow, I doubt it. No matter what the outcome is, I think it's going to be the same either way, because it's the only way that the other side doesn't lose it and try and overthrow. It's scary, man. The pendulum is coming swinging back, as we've said, you know, and it goes further, and it's going to tip the scales. And I think this is something that we really need to prepare for. It's not going to be easy to prepare for this.
But it's going to be absolutely disgusting.
Time clock, guys. Between now and election day, 15 months. 15 months. If I told you we had less than a year and a half to prepare for total civil war, can you do it? Can you do it? I think it's time for all of us to really knuckle down on our preparedness. And
so, are we changing the definition of like civil war again? Like, what we need to give folks, like, especially if they're going to vote here. What is this civil war? Like,
I would say an armed conflict, citizen against citizen, or
more like just a complete the collapse. Like, right, like the American Rome has fallen. There is no.
Yeah.
There is no.
Yeah.
You. That's who there is. You.
Yeah. And a bunch we'll have to be responsible for everything all on our own. This is why we preach to be your own first responder in all aspects.
So we gotta have Hunter on as like a special guest. I'm saying, like, that's what I'm talking about. He's like, look at both sides of this shit show. Ridiculous.
Well, Hunter, you're right. You're right. And again, Livingston Man brought up the argument earlier that a lot of people will not just play the game. There'll be a lot of people who are innocent bystanders in it, or what would you call them? Tories, I guess. They would, turn you in if they saw you.
Tories, collaborators, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I don't.
With both sides.
People are going to do things for reasons.
Wolfang, absolutely.
Now, what do you think you're going to be living in, like, behind Nazi lines in 40s Europe, doing like the French resistance thing? Okay, maybe, I guess. I don't know your situation at this point. Most people are going to have to quietly live there and just do a completely clandestine, like a underground resistance. Like, you're not actively wearing camouflage, shooting tons of people, but like you're just making life hard for whoever it is that is occupying your space that you would rather didn't. Mm-hmm. If you're a farmer and they come in and want to take your crops, then you make sure it's got E. coli all over. But whatever it is, you do not comply. And if you have to,
that's a big one.
With this behind.
Hunter, and I would never wish for a Red Dawn, and I would not want to be Patrick Swayze. I hope, honestly, that all my preparations are for nothing, and nothing bad ever happens, man. I really do. I hope for the best, but I have to prepare for the worst. And I think this is a worst case scenario. But seeing the rhetoric getting ramped up and knowing where we've been already, this can get a whole lot worse really fast. And we may only have 15 months to prepare for it.
I know that nothing good's going to happen from the 2024 election, and I have
Yeah.
been saying, and if you've been watching this channel, I'm not convinced they're actually going to allow it to occur. I think it's not above them or below them, really. They'll do whatever they want. To say something along the lines of it threatens national security.
Yeah.
Like, we just can't do it. It'll cause a civil war.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that are going to happen between now and then that are going to change a lot of people's minds. I think they're going to work people into a frenzy because that's what the media eats up, and they know that they can do it, especially when they're pushing the Donald Trump and the Joe Biden buttons as hard as they possibly can.
There's got to be a winner here. You know, it's 1-for-1. We need that. You know, we need that Return of the Jedi to set everything right again. You know, the Empire struck back. You know,
Adrian Bragg, I think a great way to avoid America's involvement in World War III is to help cause the political division that would ignite a civil conflict inside the U.S. so that our military had to come home to straighten things out
neuter
before
America,
they
and then
could
you go on a global adventure of your own.
Yeah. It
Fifth columnist, they call
it's something that I think about. One of the things
Termites
that
in the house,
I dream about at night. It's terrible. But I mean, it could happen. It totally could. Could you pop up one of those articles from this evening? I want to share some of these polls with the folks and see if it changes their mind. You can always change your vote here along the way. If the information that comes about tonight changes your vote, just let me know in the chat.
What do you want me to exactly show people?
I think it is the very
That's the 72 virgins that they get when they go to paradise.
No, the very first article, I think. Yeah, that's the one. This one has all the good polls. This one is from The Guardian, folks.
I'm going to do a screen share. Here it is.
Yeah, this one is from The Guardian. Anger and radicalization, rising number of Americans say political violence is justified. So these fine folks have been polling people about how they feel about different things. And somehow they're polling supporters of Donald Trump and supporters of Joe Biden. They're polling all of these people, and what we're finding out is that the poll numbers are pretty high according to these things. Could you keep scrolling down for us, Livingston, man? The polls are down here somewhere.
If people are watching on cell phones, you going to read it to them, or are you just going to let them watch us?
Absolutely. There we go. So the belief that the use of force is justified to restore Trump to the presidency has increased, is what they're saying.
In September of 2021, it was rather high, apparently.
Yeah. Almost 10%.
Almost 10% of U.S. adults
polled adults now.
Unless they called you up and asked you this question, literally, this is not representative of you. This is what I always feel the need to make clear about these kind of political polls. Is they call people, they ask people.
Yeah, and then they take these numbers and they multiply them. Can you scroll back up just a little bit? Because I think just above this, there is a number up here. 18 million people, they claim, feel this way, right? That 18 million people believe that the use of force is justified to restore Trump to the presidency, right? They're saying 18 million people, even though they've only polled a handful, maybe 3,000 people, but they don't give us the number on how many people they polled. They just tell you at the bottom of that poll that the Guardian graphic, representative survey on understanding support for political violence in America, quarterly survey of U.S. adults 18 plus, margin of error is 2 to 3% points for September through June, and 4 points for June. So it's really easy to multiply those numbers or screw with those numbers. But those are some big numbers. Those are some really big numbers.
So of the people that they polled here,
okay,
18.6% of them believe that the use of force is justified to 18.6%, protect the voting rights of Black Americans and other minorities.
Okay.
17.3% of these alleged 18
Polled
million people
Okay.
that need to ensure members of Congress and other government officials do the right thing.
Well, that's a pretty vague statement, Livingston, man.
I took issue with the question. What does that even mean? Is that some
whose
dog,
right thing?
Yeah, is that some
Whose
dog
right
whistle? Is that some like the thing that shall not be named? Like what thing? Like I don't.
Yeah.
Whatever
you
that
know
is,
the thing.
You know the thing.
The thing.
I don't know what that means. Do they mean honestly act morally and legally and everything else, or do they mean some
thing?
Do the right thing?
Yeah, I don't know what the definition of the right thing is, so I can't say.
12.3% restore the federal right to an abortion.
Okay, so 12.3% of these polled
Alleged
Americans, alleged 18 million people, believe that you need to use force to restore the right to abortion. So they will kill to have the right to kill.
Now, John Lennon said, after he got done hitting his wife, that if you want to talk about destruction, you gotta have a plan here. Like, I want to know what you're doing. You can go in and just smash the doors down and take over the house. Sure, what are you gonna do though?
Yeah.
So when people are like, we gotta use guns to get a federal right to abortion, like exactly what do you intend to do exactly?
I don't know, man.
Use one to do the other.
Everything is, and if this is honestly the pulse of America, and people feel that the use of violence is justified, basically in any way, they're going to start hitting those buttons. Trust me, the government pays attention to these things, and they know when they're egging people on or pissing people off or not really doing their job. I think that they can increase all of these numbers with a little bit of rhetoric. I'm interested to see in the future. We'll come back to this and see if these numbers change. I think they're going to increase even more, honestly. What do you guys think in the chat? Give me a 1 if you think that the divide is just going to increase and increase. And give me a goose egg if you think it's all bullshit and everybody's just going to go about their business.
Of the alleged 18 million people. Now, let's read these stats backwards.
Okay.
So let's start from the bottom here now. And what it says loudly is 7% of 18 million people believe that the use of force is justified to prevent the prosecution of Trump.
Okay.
But if we read it a different way, we can infer that 93% of people do not believe the use of force is justified to prevent the prosecution of Trump.
That's a big one.
But it's not, it's how it's presented. Look, bro, those 7 guys over there think like Trump's, but all 93 of you don't. So who cares?
Yeah.
But so a lot of times we have to question these surveys, even when they claim to come from super official studies and whatever.
And the best one of the night is right here.
The showstopper.
This is it. This is it.
Show
12.4% of Americans believe that the government is run by satanic worshiping pedophiles. How about that?
12% of the
12.4%. Yeah.
And that's up. That's up 2%.
Yeah. Yeah.
From 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, they're gaining ground on that Satan worshiping pedophiles thing.
Yeah. And 1 in 5 Americans still believe the 2020 election was stolen.
Now, here's another gaslighting freaking weasel word. The survey also found that nearly 90% of Trump's most radical supporters, whoever they are now, believe that the federal government is run by a deep state of immoral people. If they work for the government and make policy, they're probably immoral people. So not only is it a vaguely true statement, it's a real vague source, if you ask me.
It's
20% of the Americans allegedly polled believe that the election was stolen from Trump, but that's down 6% from the 2 years ago. So they're gaining ground in that regard. Yeah. And he hopes that we read 5 articles this last year, and now they want to beg for money.
There it is.
Betsy Reed don't make enough money. She wants $7
a month.
Yeah. Does she Does she
Yeah.
like dance on OnlyFans?
No,
I ain't getting $7
no.
a
She
month.
brings you these polls
I ain't
from the
paying her.
Guardian. From the Guardian. And man, I'm telling you guys, they're going to hit these buttons. They're going to hit every hot button that they possibly can in the coming days and weeks. It's going to get bad. It's going to get bad. We've seen it to the point of burning buildings, um, barbed wire around the White House. It's going to get really bad. And we need to bolster everything. You need to think about your clean water, medicine. You guys have to get your medicines, prescription medicines. Check out Jace. They offer the Jace monthly now. And you can get any of your medications. I don't know if it's any, but they have a big selection now, and it's getting bigger. Like your blood pressure medicines and things like that.
Essential
you can
stuff,
get them through
yeah.
there, man. You gotta bolster these things as much as you can.
And I don't know. There's got to be somebody out there who's touched on it, unless they suppressed them. But how to preserve these, so that if you can stockpile them, is that they keep.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. More like 1776 on your poll. Thanks, Drops. Appreciate you. It's going to get worse, guys. It's going to get worse. If you think you have enough, get some more. That would be my advice. Hunter says they won't take the grid down. If they do, the moon won't be lit up.
That's right. The sun is just a big spotlight.
Yeah. 31 Saint 31 says it only took 3% of the people to push the British out.
Yeah, but we could do. Don't make me Google how many people lived in America at the time, because like of the 3% of them, that was like 3,000 people.
Yeah, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot.
The
And
Revolutionary-
3% of the numbers today are staggering.
The Revolutionary War battles were nothing like what you would see in like modern or even semi-modern warfare. These were like what we'd probably refer to as skirmishes.
What we need to do is look to Ukraine right now and see how you fight off a force that's coming against you.
I think that you should look
huge lessons to be learned there.
Well, and now read history and learn the term balkanization if you don't already or haven't heard it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what America will unchecked will happen. Balkanization, where all these little regions and areas
start working together,
and become their own little places where they do what they do there.
Yep.
It's on the plate. It's halfway there already. We already have like this conglomeration of states that are all different. The people from there tend to do a certain thing, and then the people from another place act different. They hate each other because they're told to.
Roaming prepper, absolutely, and that is the wild card. Roaming prepper says, keep in mind we have a lot of veterans who just finished a 20-year campaign against insurgents. I promise you, they know how to wage one. Absolutely. And if it ever came to it, you would hope that some of these guys would, come out of the shadows and do what they do best and train people how to defend themselves and defend their homes and their communities. Because, man, I can swing a hammer at a nail pretty good. But when it comes to fighting a war, it's a whole different story. And that we need the leadership of these folks to step up and fill that gap, because we don't have the training that they do.
The best of them would, the worst of them would, what do they call that? Stolen valor.
Oh, okay. Pretend that they are. Yeah.
Like the one guy said, he's like, there was like 1,000 like Navy SEALs that served in Vietnam, and I met all 10,000 of them. Is how that works. So, I mean, if you know a person and they'll step up to a leadership position because they know some stuff, it's the classic trope of post-apocalyptic fiction, isn't it? The veteran dusts off his trusty old rifle and got to go back to dropping bodies because it's all he knows. He tried to leave it behind. He was stick fighting in Thailand, and that damn colonel came and found him anyway.
The commies came.
Johnny, you got to come back to brag. And he was like, I don't want to come back to brag, girl. I digress.
Good old John J. Rambo.
John J. Rambo. Harry here was a soldier.
How is the poll doing, Livingston, man? I got to see
some of these poll numbers. There was something about that guy.
We got to see these poll numbers.
Quoting movies later. Not
No,
end it.
no, no, don't
What
end
do I
it.
just
Just
gotta
yeah,
click it?
just touch it. Yeah,
Well,
there
we
you
got
go.
a 60-40 straight up.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
60-40. Holy, it's like
94 votes.
with
Yeah,
100.
thank you
And
guys.
if you
Thank
call
you.
that 100 votes, 60 people said let's do this.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I mean, we ain't done yet. We're
Hey,
gonna let that poll go to the end.
I take 60 of you guys. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
now you got let's imagine we're all movie characters, right? So who in the apocalypse, like who are you, right?
Me?
Yeah, you Rambo, you Keanu Reeves, you I don't know, you know what I'm getting at here, like
Yeah, yeah,
what's
yeah.
your archetype of guy
I don't
in
know.
the shit, you know what I mean? Like
I don't know.
yeah, like Carl from Walking Dead.
Carl.
Here they come. Here they come. Go ahead, typing it right on. Yeah.
No,
Snake
I'm-
Plissken.
Call him Snake. No, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm more of a protector. Just get people away. So I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't know who I would identify with, honestly. I don't know. I don't know. That's a really good question. I have to ponder on that one for a while.
Some of the first survival skills I ever learned was watching Rambo First Blood there. I mean, it's not even called Rambo First Blood. It's called
just
First Blood.
Yeah.
But when he like took his clothes, when he would like put the sack on
Yep.
and like tied the rope around his waist, he had his knife. All he needed was his knife. And
Yeah.
he just
Just
pieced
get
out.
everything done with
Jumped
it.
out the tree and killed the boar. Now, I don't know how realistic any of this crap is, but
Yeah.
and I'm too old to be jumping out of trees killing pigs with a knife. Am I? I guess it depends on how hungry I get. And those noobs like tried to shoot him with the rocket launcher, failed. Like fucking typical National Guard, am I right?
Prepared Irishman who says we should send Rambo to Ukraine. He beat the Russians in Afghanistan. Yeah.
Single-handedly,
It's
him
a
and
true
like a
story.
bunch of dudes on
Yes, man.
horseback. He drove a tank into a helicopter.
He's no joke. John J. Rambo.
Thank you, someone else in the world that's ever seen Rambo 3, because there's like 4 of us.
There's so many Rambo movies. So many.
4. They stopped.
Yeah.
There's no good
Yeah,
ones
I
after
don't know.
3. And if you're asking me, 2 wasn't even that good either.
Ghost Lincoln, I'm with you on that, man. I got to get society up and running again. So just working on that, trying to make sure that everybody's got everything that they need. It's crazy. It's crazy. I that's what I feel my purpose is to make sure everybody has what they need.
What if you ever like considering run for office?
No freaking way. No, I'd never want to be a
Like,
politician.
what is that, selling out, or you go there and do the right thing and just don't get caught up in the shit?
I don't think it would take 100 of me's to make a difference, and unless I found 100 other people willing to do the same thing, team average Joes. I think we could do it. I think we could do it.
Well, there's 70, 88, something like that. There's of them in here right now. Plus, I'm here too. I'd run for office, but I'd probably get you kicked out of mansion. I just wouldn't be allowed to talk.
No, man, I don't think I'd ever want to schmooze with the politicians or.
No, you don't. You go there and like talk down to them, like oh, like just patronize them, like be a jerk about it.
Yeah, I mean,
where's all the gold toilets?
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. We'll be invaded by space aliens before the 2024 election. Prepping Mantis. Yeah.
They got to already be here. I think
Yeah.
it's just more of they just take the mask off. And you're like, oh man, it was Elon. I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew Zuck was. I knew he was sus, bro.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't ever want to run for political office, but I think it would take
Cushy paycheck.
an
dog.
average.
You didn't do much.
Man,
Blame everything on the guy before you. You
No.
say you're just trying to fix what he did.
no way.
Yeah, that's what they see, like what they call it, power corrupts people. But the worst one is the one that wanted in the first place, or however that quote works.
Yeah, the Prepared Irishman said it best. They would unalive me in the first month. Yeah. Prepper Book Club says run local.
That's what I'm saying. Like start local, and then like people know who you are. Like I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't be eligible to
I
run
wonder.
for
I
sheriff.
wonder if we could get a movement together to separate the hamlet where I live from the town that it's attached to, and make it its own separate governing body once again. I think there's enough people there to do it. But I don't know.
Well, you can
I'm
always
more of
start
a, I'm
there.
more of a, the guy who helps organize the thing rather than the guy who is the thing. You know.
Well, I guess sometimes they're the same person, but if they're not, you have to have that part of it. Well, you got the good voice, but you're friendly and approachable. I mean, you're the perfect like politician, if you will,
Yeah.
diplomat, kind of thing.
I don't want to be approachable.
You should like get like tattoos on your face or something.
Yeah.
Wear
Well,
a
that'll
dress.
make me less approachable.
If you wear a dress, you could get elected. I bet. In Hudson,
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Michelle Cow.
Eric, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. It's Mega Maid. She went from suck to blow. But yeah, guys, it's going to get worse.
Another unofficial question for the poll, like if I may elaborate on the question the poll asks, is like, you even want to see it? Like, do I
want to see it?
Do
No.
we need this? What, more of the same? Because that's what else are they promising?
No.
What are they promising anybody but more of the same? It's either the same shit you got 4 years ago or the same shit you've had for the past 4 years. That's your choices.
Yeah. And either way, it's going to cost us more money every month.
And just be this
hands down.
This problem. People running amok, spray painting dumb shit on monuments, and
Pete, have a great night.
Beating up trash cans and fighting with each other in the internet. Oh
yeah.
God! And for what? So that
Hunter, I do think that a segment of the population, obviously from the polls, feel that violence is the answer. It's going to be.
He's right. People don't want to live it. They want to watch it. They want to.
Yeah, they want to watch it on TV.
Yeah, they want to go live and be the guy that went viral.
Nah, man, no, I don't wish for it.
People think.
I just want folks to know that this happens in other places. We've seen Venezuela collapse. We've seen governments get overthrown. It happens. It happens. And sometimes all it takes is a viral video for the whole thing to freaking unravel. And my good buddy Outlaw Jackson says it will be over the stupidest thing and everything collapses. And
it's always a rather low-key thing that actually gets blown way above its station that sets off the biggest causes. I think that, and like I said, he's right. People want it. Like, we're a little bit bloodthirsty at this point. We've gotten very used to this unprecedented season finale mentality where it's always got to one up. Everything's got to jump the shark and just go crazy every time. And where do you go from the last time we elected a guy to like this time? Something's got to break. Somebody's got to win.
Parabellum Prepper says, if the U.S. goes into civil war, the Mexican cartels will move in. I don't doubt that. They would exploit any opening, any attention away from that. They're going. Snowballs thrown in Boston. Absolutely, James. Absolutely. That.
Look what that snowballed into.
Yeah.
James Bradford is a excellent dude who I am proud to call not only a good friend but family.
Oh.
But he knows what he's talking about. He's a very, very smart fella. I love being able to converse with him in any form.
Absolutely. My mother Spark says people are tired of seeing the elite people not being held accountable.
It's going to come to that. It's not going to be a race war, class war.
You think so?
Yeah, it has to.
So?
It has to. Or
the Eat the Rich campaign is coming back?
No, it's got to be. Somebody got to get pegged, knocked down a peg.
Okay.
The two-tiered justice system, the double standard.
Oh, the rules for thee, but not for me.
It's constant, and it really doesn't go as. It doesn't start as high as people think it does. Depending on where you're from, like there's two kinds of people everywhere: the haves, the have-nots. Maybe if you consider yourself somewhere in the middle, you're a have-not.
Yeah.
Because the haves don't ask these questions of themselves and don't think about it. In most cases, it's not their fault. They're born into it, bred into it, and they know nothing other of it.
It's true. It's true.
those systems have historically been overthrown by those who are oppressed by it.
Hunter, you absolutely could be correct. You absolutely could be
You know,
correct.
just keep typing that phrase in the chat so we can make all kinds of money off this live stream. Just like saying ass. He's like ass. He doesn't even mean what he thinks it means something totally different. He thinks it means like butt to butt.
Magic, expect the unexpected. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's, it's, who knows, man? Who knows? I know that I'm buckling my freaking seatbelt and I'm getting ready for a bumpy ride.
Get that popcorn ready because this is going to be stupid.
Well,
I recommend setting up a defensive chill spot on your roof and just hanging out. Bring the barbecue up there.
Right on the roof.
Build yourself a little platform, and just make sure you got range markers set out for and just have yourself a cookout and watch this.
Crack shot. I don't know that it'll be rural versus big cities. It could be.
City people are going to get trapped. They'll be the ones up against checkpoints and everything else. They'll be trapped inside. And if you want to call, we'll be out here. We'll be not allowed to just go into the city like we want to.
No.
But
that'll be its own thing.
To get from big cities to the rural areas, you have to involve interstates and parkways and major highways.
Yeah, those the locals will take care of. Your state police, your sheriff's departments, and your local town cops.
In a national state of emergency and war, I don't know.
Those roads would be shut down.
Your freedom of
so I guess the question is, how many? At some point, even the first responders are going to say, "Hey, man, I've got to get to my family. My wife and kids are alone. I've got to go home. I can't stay here and do this. I've got to go make sure they're okay. There's stuff going on my block. I've got to be there for them." When are they going to leave the patrol cars and become the Rick Grimes?
Penny Prepper said it best: roof Koreans, if you will.
Yep.
Banded together to protect their neighborhood, their livelihood, their their little chunk of the world, and that's where things like this start. And then when you band together with your neighbors who are doing the same thing, and then the neighbors on either side of them, now you got a block going on, and now
That's why we preach the community, man. It's so big.
You gotta know your neighbors, and you gotta plant seeds. Don't go up to your neighbor and be like, "Hey, bro, you got guns for when the shit hits the fan." No, don't ask your neighbor that.
No, make sure they got food. Do you have food? Can you garden? Do you know how to garden? Do you have a swimming pool full of water that we could drink? Just questions like that.
Can I eat your pets?
Yeah. How many lodge dogs do you have?
You got enough food to feed them?
But it's a big thing, man. And the prices are going up even more every day. Everything gets more freaking expensive.
You should definitely stockpile cash so you can burn it when you get cold at
night. The more time we wait to prepare, the more expensive it is for us. So if you can eat that elephant one bite at a time and pick up some rice, some beans, whatever it is that you can afford to get at the time, spend that money on food, man. Make sure that you don't have to go out into the fray and that you can take it with you when you leave. Store it in good containers that you can pick up and throw in your vehicle or in a cart or whatever the case may be, whatever situation you're in. And get out of Dodge if you have to.
Pin this comment.
Yeah. Yeah. Be your own bank, your own store, and your own pharmacy. Absolutely loving life.
It's the essentials that you got to have. Whatever we honestly can't know what's going to become currency, but in its most basic form, it's going to be goods. A straight up barter system. People in a catastrophic survival situation don't care about $100 bill. They need to feed their infant or put water, or they need medicine or something, and they don't maybe have cash, but they have something. Yeah, cash. It is. Maybe I'm just dense, and that's a real possibility. I cannot understand why people in a survival post civilization situation would entertain the idea of gold, silver, currency, whatever. I don't.
I
It's
think
never
I
made.
think
No
it's
one
to
has
hold
never
on.
successfully made sense to me what you're going to do with it.
I think the thought is to hold on to it until things normalize
That's a
again.
hoarder mentality right there.
Until things normalize again. Well, I was talking.
Ooh.
I was talking with a friend the other day about. You're almost a hoarder as a prepper. I think of my SHTF is the grid down, right? If the grid goes down, so old hand tools, things that don't need the battery, don't need the charger, things like that. Man, do they take up some freaking space, and all of a sudden you need a storage unit to put some stuff in, and now you're prepping a storage unit someplace.
James Bradford, I mean, due to cultural impact alone, we could plausibly say that bottle caps will become the currency of the future.
They could be. They could be. Drop says I got the solar and wind. Fantastic.
Now we all. This is where we have to say that the situation is going to be different for everybody, even if
absolutely
the cause of the situation is the same: the storm, the bomb, the this, the that.
Yeah.
Everyone's what they do about it and how they are forced to react is going to be different.
Big time.
This way, test your preps. Something sounds like a good idea, then try it. Make sure it is.
Practice bugging out, guys. Practice bugging out.
You will spend money on shit you decided actually wasn't good, or you didn't need it, or you evolved past it. This is where the hoarder thing comes in. What you do is go in your community and you start handing out stuff that you don't use anymore.
Absolutely.
To people that don't have that thing. Yeah, I mean, it's not that what you have is better. You've moved past it. So give it to somebody else that could start there.
Absolutely.
Here he is making a case for gold and silver has been king as far as value since start of time for the most part. It's for one of my live streams personally to really go down the rabbit hole as to why I think humans like precious metals.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I'm going to entertain you, Paul Conroy. It's part of our DNA, and that's what I'm going to tell you.
The gold and silver, the shiny things. We're just a fish going to a lure, guys.
Yeah, and there's a reason for it, and I'm going to do a live stream about it. It has to do with visitors that are not from this planet.
Oh. Ooh. Can I be in on that one too?
Yeah, I got big, not so much my own ideas, but I love those that have been presented to me.
Yeah, why not?
It makes sense, all right?
Sure. Old Mutt says plant weed, everyone will be happy, allegedly. You need to give it to the politicians, man. They need to chill the fuck out. They need to chill the fuck out.
That's a felony drug, bro. It's drugs. If they found like somebody left like a half-rolled joint in the White House, nobody would have gave a fuck.
No. Prepared Irishman says, if you got any tips on that bugging out, I would appreciate it. Asking for a friend. Hey, practice with your vehicle first and foremost. Obviously, that's going to be your primary means of transportation. Unless the inevitable EMP happens and everything doesn't work. So we're going to go with you have your vehicle. Practice loading your preps into your vehicle as much as you can. The things that you are going to take with you. There's going to be a whole lot of shit that you're going to leave behind. Your
essentials should fit in your pocket. You should more or less have them with you all the time anyway.
On your person.
The rest of the stuff is optional. If you can't fit the stuff you need in your pockets or on yourself in like a compact, like reasonable form, try to figure out a way to do that. Like the EDC thing, your everyday care.
Absolutely.
Those are your basic essentials. Like you just would not want to get fucked without those, right? And then expand on that.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it small, keep it real. You don't need to bring the kitchen sink with you every time you go to work.
No, very true.
Or maybe you do.
Well, 31 Saint says, get a bicycle. That's a great idea. Figure out a way to get some of your preps on a cart behind the bicycle, in a basket behind the bicycle, things like that. If that's your alternate means, you should absolutely practice with it. Everything in your bug out bag should be I'm not going to say well used, but well planned out, and you should be well adversed in setting it up in any conditions. Setting one of those tarps up in windy conditions can be a real pain in the ass. So go out when it's windy and try it out. You have to practice these things ahead of time. If you get out there in a shitty situation and try to implement all the shit in your bag, it's going to be a lot harder if you've never done it before.
Or it's
So
still in its package,
yeah,
zip ties
yeah,
and rubber bands and just, BS. Like, so get your stuff, and it doesn't matter what you're intending to do. You got to start somewhere.
absolutely.
But, settle on a basic ballpark plan. Like, I guess this is what I would do.
Yeah,
And then start to think about, like, now play that through in your head. Like, all right, the simplest thing. All right, you're not even bugging out, you're bugging in.
okay,
Power's out. Everything's messed up. We're talking 5 days. You ain't got no electricity. 5 days.
yeah,
None. Okay, you're not turning on lights. You're not running an air conditioner. You're not doing anything. Do you go the solar generator route?
yep,
Do you just wait it out because it kind of doesn't matter to you? What season is it?
yeah, absolutely. Do you have to worry about heating? Do you have to worry about
So,
cooling?
a lot goes into this where you're trying to find a neutral ground where you can find a universal setup that will work for anything, and don't chase that dragon. Or else what you have to have is everything for everything, and you don't.
Yeah,
Just figure out what you're going to do, and you got to just stick with it.
yeah, and that's another part of getting the community together is the community can prepare and help each other out. I know that I have some
I know a
tools.
guy.
I have some tools that I cannot operate on my own that I would need somebody else's help with. Um, so I have to, get community members or family members to practice with these tools with me so that we can use them if we need to when the time comes. Um, and if I don't do it now, it's going to be a pain in the ass for us to learn together when times are tough and it's a priority and the pressure's on. So when the pressure's not on is a great time to, implement new ideas, new strategies, and test them out. Like Livingston Man said, run through them in your head and then, try to implement them and actually go through with it and see where you're lacking, where you're not. And write everything down, guys. Write it all down. That way you don't forget and you don't misremember or think you did better than you did.
I actually, okay, it won't show it.
No,
Positions
no.
almost had it. Right
The
there,
boots
right
are on.
Okay, look, I use paracord, for my shoelaces. One, they will never break.
Yeah.
And they're a little more comfortable. You take the inner wrap. There's 7 strands inside it. Take that out. Use it for whatever you want. I just use the outer sheath.
Okay, as the shoelace.
Yeah, and
okay.
They lay flat on your feet and grip nice and tight and they don't loosen up so well. It takes a little while to get them worked out.
Awesome.
But as people putting any kind of cordage in your EDC, you don't need much. 6 feet for a bootlace, and that's kind of a lot.
Right.
I mean, and what do you? I don't know, 48 inches. You can make a belt, or you can strap, pull the Rambo thing, throw the burlap sack on, cinch a belt on, and it doesn't take up much room in your pocket. You can use it for anything.
Hang on one second. Crackshot says in 3 to 4 days, mobs will form in densely populated areas. Communities have to form fast to protect their area. Crackshot, that you're going to have to form the community long before things get bad in order to be able to respond like that. Believe that. You need to get that community together right now. You guys have to get together and have those conversations. And just know that folks are on the same page that, if things go down, we'll gather here and we'll discuss where to go from there.
If you're not like blatantly sure about people, like I said, and I don't mean to be deceptive with them, but like you also you want to be able to judge a person's character to like your standards, I suppose.
Yeah.
But without, again, there's no way to do this. That sounded like devious some way, but you don't want them to know what you're doing. Is like, like I said, you don't want to just come up to people and like,
hey, here's all my plans,
and espouse your outlandish views to like some person that is perhaps not receptive to the idea.
Yeah.
It starts with like a relationship, like an acquaintance.
Yep.
Ship, and then maybe a friendship, a neighbor thing.
Mm-hmm.
When we first moved to the neighborhood, it took us a minute to get in with the people and stuff. And then he's like, hey, neighbor, how's it going?
Yeah.
And you talk to people, you get to know more and more about it. You start to realize that, like, okay, listen, I can open up a little bit to this person. So not only do you not already know them,
yep,
but you can start to, what you would be suggesting in this regard means more to them because you're a person they know,
Yeah,
and you've genuinely come to care about them and their family or what have you.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
so you have to. These aren't just things like you get
No, they're
together with a bunch of
relationships.
yeah,
You
and
build relationships over time. Um,
it takes work.
James Bradford says, "You never rise to the occasion. You fall back to your average level of training." Absolutely. That's why I think it's so important to practice with this stuff. Because if you get used to just taking that bag and throwing it in the back seat and knowing that you can live out of that for X amount of days and just go out and do it, um, you know that you can live out of that thing for X amount of days because you've done it. And if you haven't been out there with, your little bivy tent that you have and your little survival bag and you haven't tried to live out of it, you're not going to. You're not going to. You're going to go out there and get discouraged because I don't have the stuff and I don't know what to do. And it's not just a bug out bag. It's the get home bag, the car kit, whatever it is that you think is going to be um, your last resort. You need to know how to use that.
Crap, this sucks. Kid.
Yeah,
Like, who knows what's going to happen out there? Wolfgang said it best, I think, right? Yeah, we have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow.
exactly.
And magic, it would depend on what kind of paracord you actually have. The ones I have in my boots is actually 750 cord.
Okay.
So instead of seven little strands inside, I think it has 9.
Right. And that's what, 1,100 pound break strength or something
Well, no,
like
750
that?
for the
Okay.
whole thing unedited, right?
Okay.
And I believe, and I might be close here at least. I ain't gonna say I'm right. Is that I think the sheath alone is like 20 pounds, and each little strand inside adds 20 or 30 pounds or something,
Okay.
adding up to the 550 number. So hold without bounce. He asked how many strands it take, right?
Right.
Without bounce, a 550 cord could hold you. Your problem is going to be where it cuts you because it's so thin.
Yeah.
It's either going to cut you or leave a real nasty welt around you. I would recommend rappelling with it.
No.
Perhaps weight wise you could, but I would definitely not.
No, it's great for, tying up tarps and things like that, making improvised fishing stuff.
Stuff's only a quarter-inch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not very big.
Rappelling like climbing ropes are big 3/4, 7/16, 9/16, so big fat ropes.
Yeah.
And like the hemp ones, the twisted cord, pirate ropes, like
Yeah.
you can climb with those. They have a sometimes 2,000-pound rating, but again, they're uncomfortable. The newer like synthetic ropes are smoother to slide knots on and all this other shit.
Yeah. If you're thinking about climbing, without a doubt, get a climbing rope. Get a climbing rope.
They're rated for like multiple times, like a safety rating, just in case, like if you fall, that shock.
Yeah, it's not going to snap.
Yeah.
Tarps are enemies. Hey, improvise, adapt, overcome, my mother spark. Improvise, adapt, overcome.
A little cordage in your pocket ain't gonna hurt you, even if you break
Nope.
a shoelace. I always lace my shoes with 550 cord, so I have never like broken a shoelace that I can remember.
Right. Prepared Irishman says it will stretch and snap eventually when put under tension.
Also, it gets wet and dries out in the sun because it's nylon. The sun has an effect on it.
Yep, it degrades it for sure. For sure. I had some out in the woods for about a year, and it seemed to be no worse for wear other than being a little stiff and slightly discolored. Static and dynamic rope know the difference. Absolutely, Eric. Absolutely. But again, that was, crummy Chinese paracord. So
Sometimes, now some brands are they do you dirty and they brand it as 550 cord, but it isn't. They have it at my local hardware store. I'm like, wow, they sell 550 cord here. I'm looking at it, no, it's polyester, and it actually has a 220 pound limit.
Oh,
But that's in the fine print because it's
yeah.
550 TM, not 550 like actual.
Oh, okay.
weight.
Okay. Old Mutt says, I like number 36 bank line for most things. That stuff is fantastic. And Cajun says mule tape. Absolutely. That stuff is super heavy duty. Super heavy duty.
And what I figure is it's like flashlights and knives. You probably want to have maybe 3 different kinds of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a little one, a medium one, and like a big one.
Yep. The heavy duty. The heavy duty. Oh, my mother spark. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are out of time. We've done rambled on all night long.
Oh man.
All night
Well,
long.
we came in a bit late, didn't we?
Yeah.
Just try to make it keep,
Yeah. We'll stay late.
So to address the poll,
Oh yeah, we can't leave before the poll.
it's a 57-43, folks, which is still
125 votes. Awesome, guys. Awesome. That's
57% of those polled believe
that we will be
in a state of civil war before the 2024 election. Yeah. 43% said no. If I were to vote in this now that it's over, I'm going to end the poll.
Okay.
Now that it's over, I would have voted no.
You'd have voted no. Okay.
For snarky reasons, I don't think that people have it in them to actually go full blown. You can't even get them to quit their jobs. You think they're going to?
I gotta go to work, man.
Yeah, I gotta go to work. You can't even get them to quit their jobs. You think they're going to go to work?
Wolfang, have a great night, my friend.
That would have been my take on. What would you have said?
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes, man. I think the frenzy is coming, and I think they're gonna whip people up into a state of psychosis.
They're gonna make it happen.
That makes them justify violence against, a person who thinks the other way. I think it's going to come to it. I really do. And I hope that the 56% of folks who voted are preparing like it's going to happen. I really do.
Marco, right?
Yeah.
There's two kinds of people. There's ones you can't get them to go to work, and the other ones you can't get them to leave work.
It's true. The gap is widening.
What's it going to take? I don't know, but I guess they're going to figure out something.
Joe DeFaso, you could be right. But I think they're going to push that frenzy before the cycle, man. I think the debates are going to be wild. I think it's going to push people over the edge. I think stupid things are going to be said. And I think at some point, maybe we'll get to see behind the curtain again, guys. And it's going to really push people over the edge. So prepare for it, folks.
It's going to be it's going to be something to see. I'll tell you what.
And it's going to be a shit show.
If it's something you want to see, boy, is that going to be something.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we will catch y'all tomorrow on the wheel going down Wednesday. Stay safe, folks. We out of here.